Welcome to Dark Sorcery. I'm Alfredo Martinez, and I have with me Traci Snow. Traci, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
It's good to have you on. And we're going to be, Traci is the owner of Darkwave. It's a radio station. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, Darkwave is a program on Valley Free Radio in Northampton, Massachusetts. I've been running a radio show since 19. I first started off doing radio when I started college, what was back then known as New England College. Now it's Western New England University. I started at what's the name? I'm trying to remember the call letters back then was WNEK.
Hmm.
And I started at first I was doing heavy metal music, but then I ended up meeting different people at the station and ended up gravitating more towards goth and industrial. And from that point onward, that's where I kind of stuck with that genres. And over the years, I still did radio at Western New England College, but then in around 2002, 2003, a new radio station was being established in Northampton, Massachusetts called Valley Free Radio. I was part of the team that helped bring the station together, and it ended up going on the air in August of 2004, which I'm very proud of being one of the founding members. My first show, my original show wasn't Darkwave back then. It was called Music of Flywheel. I was a full-time member of this arts collective in East Hampton, Massachusetts. I would bring in bands from different parts of the country, sometimes from different parts of the world, and we would just showcase them at our small venue. What my show did in those early days was I played anything and anyone. I did not discriminate. And over the years, it worked well, but then around 2012, 2013, I kind of want to go back to just doing exclusively just darkwave music, Batcave, goth. And that's when my programming changed and I just stuck with that genre. And over the years, I kind of will touch base on the occult, maybe a little bit of Aleister Crowley, but now I really want to dive in because I think there's something going on now. I think on this planet where I think people are looking for answers for to what's going on with the world. And sometimes you can't find the answer because the media that we have right now is kind of, I hate to say it, but it's kind of tightly controlled in certain aspects.
Yeah.
And people want something that is original and unique. And that's what I'm here for. I'm trying to get unique perspectives from people, from everyday people. I consider myself as an everyday person. I mean, sometimes things get canned, sometimes things get packaged, and it doesn't feel authentic. I remember I had a conversation with someone, and they're talking about how music now doesn't feel authentic. So a lot of kids, in teenagers and young adults have been gravitating to the music of the past. They're gravitating to the grunge era. They're gravitating to the heavy metal era, or the punk scene and stuff. And you'll probably see that when you go to a show or something, you'll probably see that kid who's 18 years old and Hispanic, but he's wearing all the patches from the punk era from the 1970s. And it's so refreshing because people are seeking that. And the same thing with the occult. Sometimes, you have certain groups like the Satanic Temple or Anton LaVey's organization. And sometimes it doesn't, sometimes they have good answers, but sometimes these answers are not satisfying. So for at least with my show, I want to give not just alternatives, but just to give other points of view. And then I let the listener decide what works for them or what feels right, or, at least have that exposure because who am I to tell you how to lead your life,
Right. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should
right.
be. Everybody should have a voice.
I mean, I hate to say I'm the tree of knowledge, but I'm not. But that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you give the person the apples. Do you want to bite it or not? It's I hate making that analogy, but that's how it feels sometimes. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk more about the radio darkwave later on. But for now, let's talk a bit about how your interest in the paranormal and the occult started. Where did that start?
When I was a kid, I'm gonna let everybody know I'm 100% Polish. I'm Slavic.
Okay.
I kind of chuckle because like now in this era, like America has been simplified to just the color of your skin now. But when I was growing up, we didn't differentiate people like that. It's like you were Irish or you were Polish or you're African American. You have roots that go back like 6, 7 generations. That's how I was brought up, and that's how I was think. So now, so as a Slav, we have a different kind of spirituality, maybe compared to those like in the western part of Europe. And for me, and this is something where I kind of felt sad because when I was growing up as a kid, I was kind of isolated. I was not part of my ethnic group. I lived in Springfield. Most of the people in my neighborhood were either Irish mixed or from Old English WASP stocks, white WASP, which is white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So you can't really relate. So like if I have a paranormal experience, like who am I supposed to go to? And my parents were also didn't like the paranormal. Like they and the church that I was with didn't like talking about. Like for example, like even today, like the Catholic Church don't want you talking to ghosts, for example. That's frowned upon. They say like you got to trust in God or you got to trust in Jesus, because you just don't know if these ghosts are good or bad. You're better off trusting the source of light than trusting something that you don't understand until you're ready for it. And I'm going to stress the word until you're ready to deal with it. So, and so a lot of things will happen accidentally. Like I think I mentioned how some of my experiences were just like these surprises that I didn't understand. But then as I started reading, and this is where the internet's wonderful, you start reading stories about people who have similar experiences, and then you realize you're not alone. So like one, and some people are probably going to be taken aback with this one, but the one that really made the most impact of me was in Poland. Some people may be familiar with the Black Madonna, the Black Madonna. She's located in Częstochowa, and I went there with my family, and it happened to be a slow day, so I was able to go inside the actual veneration room. And when I got inside, all of a sudden I got hit with this energy, and it started like at my legs, and then it just kept going up, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like I just felt good, and I didn't understand why. And it's like it just felt so good. I started bawling with happiness, and my cousins were looking at me funny. My daughter was looking at me funny. And they're like, "What's wrong, Leela? Why are you crying?" It's like, I'm so happy. And I didn't stop until I got out of the chapel, but that energy was there. And after that, like my perspective on life changed after that. Like I started becoming a better person for some reason. And I'm a little bit afraid to even talk about it with people because it's like, how do I quantify that? It's not like, oh, here's a cup, like, here's my coffee. I can quantify it. There it is. You can't because it's a sensation. How do you quantify that? But that's what happened to me.
Yeah, just your intuition will tell you.
Right.
You had mentioned that you also had a vision of Santa Muerte.
Yes. Santa Muerte. I don't practice Santa Muerte, but I have prayed to the entity a few times. And I remember about a year ago, I had this dream, and it was very vivid. And there she, in the dream, when people get when you see a picture or you get a figurine of Santa Muerte, she's always wearing this cloak. It's usually the colors of white, red, or black. With me, she was dressed in the American flag, and there she was, and she was standing very tall, very. I don't want to use the word proud, but she was solid. She was strong, and there was this song coming off of her. Like it was like I hate using the word hum, and I hate using the word insects, but it wasn't insects, but she was talking. She was like a radio transmitter. And then it's like, and what she was doing with this transmitter, she was sending out this energy, and then the energy would be coming back. And then she was also relaying energy. So when it bounced off whatever person it was supposed to go to, they know where to track her, and they're supposed to follow her to America. And in that in that vision, she like looked at me and she goes, "Don't stop me." And because I'm helping my people. And I was like, wow. And that kind of changed my point of view about the people crossing the border in the southern border in the United States. Because at first I was like, maybe we should be careful who's coming in. And then I'm like, realized, my God, there are so many desperate people crossing the border because they want the American dream. That's the ideal. And it's like, who am I to say, like, that these people shouldn't have a chance? Santa Muerte is calling them in. Let them come in, because they're not there to do evil or anything bad. It's just that they're there following an ideal, freedom, a chance for a better life, a chance to be in a community where they can take their talents, take their aspirations, and do something with themselves. And even if it's just to have a place where they can at least eat better and have better medical care and just give a better life to their kids and grandkids, so be it, because they have that right, because they're humans. So yeah.
You had mentioned about crystals. You have an interest in crystals. You say they talk to you?
Yes. I kind of like met somebody recently because my abilities are kind of flawed. I'm just going to be honest with you about it. But like, for example, like this, I decided to use this as a magic wand now. I can't remember the name of the crystal. Look how cool it is. It's like a rectangle.
It looks like selenite to me. I think
right. Exactly. That's what it is. And what's nice is that, like, I've seen it with people. I have seen it on people on video. And what you can do with these is that if you want to charge it up, is like you just do this, you just rub, and then you just like bring it up or bring it down, whatever way you want to do it. And then you'll feel the energy. Like, it's like right now I can feel it.
Yeah, it's also good to hold two of them in your hand like that, those wands, and then just meditate. And,
yes.
Yes. What crystal would you say would be your favorite one to work with, or your favorite one to have?
I don't have favorites. It's whatever gravitates to me at the moment. I hate using the word call to me because I had a need for them. Like, for example, for a long time, I had problems with the heart chakra and gravitating toward fluorite for a while, anything that was green. So, but for some people, like when they do, for whatever reasons they're using it, like, for example, like I got this red dragon egg and I have no idea. I mean, it was given to me as a gift. But it's like, I kept it in the sun for a while, but I haven't really used it or played with it because it's just not my time for it. So I just leave it alone. So.
Okay. And you also have an interest in trees, as far as touching trees. You like the energy they give off?
Well, here's, for some people like me, and this is something that I kind of kept to myself for a long time until I started meeting people who had the same experiences. Even when I was a little kid, I mean, I loved going up to big trees and especially healthy ones. And you just put your hands there and you just like feel the energy go from your hands. And sometimes it'll go all the way up to your arms. And sometimes I could tell if the tree is sick or not by just how it's radiating its energy. And I mean, I can't explain it. Like I said, it's just a sensation because I can't like see it. I just know I can feel it.
Yeah.
And,
a lot of people like drawing off the energy of trees, like, say, for instance, if they're meditating or they just, you can absorb the energy.
Yes. And sometimes I'll have conversations with the trees. Like you said, it's like a form of meditation. So when I do that, I all of a sudden my mind will start clearing up and then I just start having like this dialogue in my head. And I'll probably do it for like a few minutes or 20 minutes, depending how time passes.
Yeah.
But sometimes you end up getting some of the answers through what's going when your unconscious is subconscious is like you got some things like rolling around in there. Sometimes you'll find the answers by like just being in nature.
And you're a battery. Sometimes you need to recharge. So yeah.
Exactly. And people forget to do that.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a bit about Laurie Cabot.
Laurie Cabot, since I'm a longtime resident of Massachusetts, Laurie Cabot was the official witch of Salem in Massachusetts, and she was made the official witch of Salem by Governor Dukakis in 1977. She does have an interesting history. I think I sent you the link, so
Yeah.
I rather not like spend too much time talking about her, but she was the one that kind of kick-started the occult movement in Salem, because before that people would go to Salem and they just remember the witch trials, but she ended up being one of the first pioneers that showed that you can be a living witch, and that's okay to be a living witch, that you don't have to be, you know, exclusively Christian, or you don't have to be exclusively Jewish, or you have or you know, or other faiths. You can experiment with being from the old religions before Christianity like took over in some countries, and that's what she did. And she had a wonderful store. I remember going there a few times. I can't remember the name of the store, and like I said, like in that link, like the whole entire history is there, but.
Yeah.
You walk in there, it's like there's a little bit of everything. It was just fantastic. Like, you know, like not just herbs and candles and stuff, but she also had like these fantastic costumes. And a lot of the ceremonial robes will be like handmade. Like I even had I didn't buy it at her store, but I did remember in Salem, like my ceremonial black robe was handmade by this punk rock chick. And she did such a great job. It was made out of wool, and it's still, I mean, like I bought it like in the mid 1990s, and it still holds, it's still holding together. I mean, she did such a great job with it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You had also mentioned that you are friends with John Zuiz of Sleep Chamber, who was a well-known occultist.
John Z. Wiz. John's not doing too well because he's old now, and he's also partially blind. But if you're familiar with the industrial scene, he was one of the founding godfathers of industrial music. He was making music since the early, I think the late 1990s, early 1980s. So he has a long career. And not only that, but he was also friends with Genesis P. Porridge, who was one of the founding members of Throbbing Gristle, and he was also a member of the Temple of Psychic Youth. So
Okay.
yeah, so he's an interesting guy, very nice guy. He has always, like, some people get confused with his music and his message, but with him, he always loved women. He always valued women. And that was his message, is that women are these wonderful magical creatures and you got to respect them. And that's what he did for his entire career. It may not seem like it when you read his material,
Right.
but when you get
Right.
to know him one-on-one, he was yeah, he's a very kind, generous person, and a lot of people think he's not like this evil magician or something. He's not. He's not like that at all.
All right. Well, tell us a bit about the Satanic Temple in Salem.
I do enjoy going there. They run a very um, the temple itself is in one of the old Gothic houses. Actually, they're called the style of homes in that area, which is common in New England. They're called Victorians, and they managed to secure a property in a quiet neighborhood in Salem, Massachusetts, and they did a pretty good job rehabilitating it. And inside, they have different rooms where they have art exhibits. They also host events. And the statue itself, the statue of Baphomet, a few years ago, they actually had it outside, and they had it in this not black, it was in this white and red circus tent, little circus tent. and I was able to go in there, and the guy who led the tour with me and my husband, I asked him, like, hey, can I sit on it? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. I trust you. So I managed to take a few shots of me just sitting on the lap of Baphomet. It was just fun.
Looks fun. You
yeah,
sent me that picture of,
yes.
you're having a good time.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the goth scene in Northampton, Massachusetts.
The goth scene in Massachusetts, and especially in Northampton, it's alive and well. I actually, a few weeks ago, I was very, very blessed to be in Los Angeles a few weeks ago, and I think I hung out with Gian, and I actually checked out the goth scene. Now, when I ask people about goth scenes, most people think it just doesn't exist anymore. It's like it's dead, and it's like what's really going on? It's gone underground. Like for example, in Los Angeles, it's basically these events are taking place. It's just that it's based on who you know, and if you're lucky enough, you might be able to catch a flyer. You might be able to see an advertisement on Facebook and attend the event. It's kind of like the same way in Northampton, except it is well established. The organization that runs it is run by Penelope. She runs Haven Tattoos in Northampton, and the event's just called Haven. It's supposed to be a safe place for all types of people, and you can just go in there and dance the night away, or you can just spend time at the bar just talking with people, and it's fun. Like I said, it's a safe place where you can just be yourself. I mean, if you're lucky, you might see the whipping post might be there. You might watch some people getting flogged. But for me, it's like, whatever. But yeah, it's still it's good. Like they have I think I sent you the link, and they have an event coming up in the end of January, because Penelope unfortunately has multiple sclerosis, MS.
Right.
So she will come up with the ideas, but she has all her friends helping her out getting the event established. So and if you get to meet her personally, just go and meet her. She's a wonderful gal. She's in my age. She's like in her 50s like me. So, but she's a wonderful person.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us where people can tune into Darkwave.
Darkwave is on Valley Free Radio. The link is valleyfreeradio.org. Just go on the website. You just got to click on the box that says listen. You might have to,
I'll put the link below the video so they can check it out.
I'm on Thursday nights Eastern Standard Time from 9 to 11 p.m. I do have my co-host Bunny, who's a longtime friend of mine. He actually has been with me off and on since I started radio in 1988. He came on board like around 1990.
Right.
Was it 1990? 1980? No, 1980. Yeah, 1989 or 1990. So he's been around for like 30 years.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah.
This is FM radio in Massachusetts.
Yes, it is. Right. It's a low power radio station. So like after 10 o'clock, I can play songs with explicit lyrics or explicit content, which is kind of, so when you tune in and it's like, wow, there's all these swears. I'm like, well, we can, because we're a low power radio station. That's one of the nice things about with the FCC is that they do allow these exemptions. So.
Okay. All right. And those of you who are, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, that's like the safe harbor period for radio. It's like between 10 o'clock to 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah,
I like tuning into stations at that time. And those of you who are watching, Dark Sorcery will be featured on Darkwave sometime, so we'll keep you updated on that.
Yes.
Traci, thank you for coming on. It's very good talking with you.
Yes.
And like I said, anyone who's watching, I'll have the link below so you can check out Darkwave. Thank you for coming on, and everyone who's watching, like and subscribe to Dark Sorcery.
Right. Oh, and one more thing too. When people do tune in, I mean, I also have a phone number that like you can call in and make requests, or if you want to add some suggestions. So I'll just tell the phone number right now. It's 413-585-1033. And I just like I said, I would just want people to, life is meant to be enjoyed. And if you forget to enjoy life, this is where people start having problems. They start thinking life is just linear with a beginning and an end, and they keep forgetting that life is actually a circle. It's a lot. It's bigger than what people think it is. So just remember that.
Okay.
Otherwise, all right.
Well noted. Everybody watching, like and subscribe to Dark Sorcery and check out Darkwave.
The cross-pollination is taking place between East Coast and West Coast.
Yes.